Hello, Royal Raymond Rife was a scientist, inventor and medical researcher. He is known for his microscopes, which he claimed could observe live microorganisms, but also by an electronic device constructed by him called the Rife Machine, which according to his claims is capable of curing very serious and incurable diseases. In two of my previous videos on this topic, how to make original Plasma Rife Machine and do-it-yourself advanced Plasma Rife Machine, I described how I made such devices, one with a simpler construction and the other more complex with advanced functions. This time I will try to describe you in more detail the simplest and cheapest way to make such a device, and for its making I will use components that can be easily obtained. Of course, in order to make it yourself, you must have at least basic knowledge in the field of electronics, and if this is not the case, someone who is an expert in this field can make it for you, and it should not cost you a lot of money. If you decide to make this device, it is advisable to watch previously mentioned videos to make many things clearer. Basically, Rife machine consists of several parts. First is Rife frequency generator. This part serves to generate a series of frequencies with a certain duration that depend on the type of the treatment and type of disease. For this purpose, we will use the personal computer as the simplest solution, and with the help of advanced free software, we will send the frequencies to the modulator through the sound card. The software is Frex16, and you can freely download it at the given address. The application contains a large database with ready-made frequencies, with ready-made Rife frequency sequences for various diseases. We can search for the disease according to the initial letter or through the search tab. A very useful function is that we can assign our own frequency sequence, which is not contained in the given database. Also, we can choose different shapes of the signal. As sine wave, square wave, triangle wave, sawtooth positive and sawtooth negative. It has also the white noise generator. In practice, rectangular and sawtooth negative are mostly used. In the video, the method of installation and use is described in more detail. Frex16 is a wonderful free program created by Ken Uzel. You can download it from the Spectrotech site, where registration number is provided for free use. Now I will briefly describe how to use it. So this is the start screen. The application contains a large database with ready-made Rife frequency sequences for various diseases. We can search for the disease according to the initial letter or to the search tab. For example, let's look for Rife frequencies for the treatment of herpes simplex type 5. We need to type herpes in this. So this is herpes simplex type 5. These are given frequencies. Now we set these frequencies to buffer, then view the buffer and select herpes type 5. Exit. Next we clear the previous buffer, so this is preview buffer, and enter the new one. Here are the frequencies, and here are the durations of each individual frequency. We can change the duration of each frequency. For example, 100 seconds. Or 50 seconds. Another very useful function is that we can assign our own frequency sequence which is not contained in the given database. We do it as follows. We press the edit button and enter the frequencies we know from another source in the fields in order. For example, etc. We can form a sequence of up to 40 frequencies, as we see. Next we need to enter the name of the new program. For example, test. And click save and exit. If you like to find the new program, here's the new entered program with the name test. Now we press the start button and the following screen appear. On the left is the entire therapeutic program as well as its duration. In our case 32.5 minutes. This is the start frequency, the volume slider, and the shape of the output signal. We can choose different shapes of the signal, sinus wave, next square wave, triangle wave, sawtooth positive, sawtooth negative. It have also white noise generator. In practice, rectangular and sawtooth negative shapes are mostly used. In this section is visually presented the shape of the signal that is currently being generated. The program starts when you click on the run button. As time passes, the elapsed frequencies turn red. And at the end of the set time, the generator is automatically switched off. In our case, after 31.92 minutes. Here we can choose another frequency, for example. In this case, this is the carrier signal with the harmonics and the amplitudes. So carrier and harmonics. Next part is carrier frequency generator with modulator and amplifier. For this purpose I use a TL494PWM modulator integrated circuit and IRF740 or similar power MOSFET transistor as a signal amplifier. At the input we bring the signal from the PC sound card, which actually the Rife frequency that are modulated by the carrier. With the first potentiometer is regulated the degree of modulation, gain, and with the other the carrier frequency. We can change the carrier frequency in the range from 20 to 200 MHz. Then this assumed signal is amplified by power transistor, which is mounted on an aluminum board for cooling and fed to the primary windings of a high voltage transformer. The circuit diagram for this part is given in the project attachment. Next, the high voltage transformer can be taken from example from old CRT monitor or TV, from a copy machine, as in my case, or we can get it from an electronic parts store or online. If we use a high voltage transformer from an old monitor or TV, we need to wind about 7 to 10 turns of lacquered copper wire with a diameter of 1 to 1.5 millimeters on the core of the transformer. That will be the primary winding of the transformer. The outputs of the high voltage transformer are connected directly to the plasma tube. In this transformer, the output is this big insulated wire, or this on this transformer, and the ground, which is one of these pins. It can be tested in such a way that when we turn on the circuit and bring the electrode close to the pins, a spark of several centimeters will form at the correct ground pin. And the last part is a plasma tube. This part is most difficult to obtain, and it's often the main reason for avoiding the construction of a Plasma Rife machines. Unfortunately, on the internet you can find countless Rife machines that work by holding metal electrodes in the hands, which is completely wrong and dysfunctional because due to the skin effect, the high frequency currents move only to the surface of the skin and does not penetrate to internal organs. On the other hand, the devices that contain the plasma tube are extremely expensive. Now I will reveal to you a big secret that does not work in favor of the manufacturers of such devices. Namely, Rife experimented with tubes filled with inert gases, argon, neon and mercury. Ordinary compact fluorescent lamps are filled with argon and small percentage of mercury vapor, which until recently we used for lighting in our homes and can still be bought as old stock at a very low price. If we remove the electronics, these tubes are ideal for use in this particular case. The only drawback is that now the device will be less visually exotic and the placebo effect during the treatment will be weaker. Otherwise, its function is identical to that of expensive Plasma Rife machines that are offered on the internet. This is a plasma tube taken out of an old CFL bulb, and the two wires need to be connected to the secondary of the high voltage transformer. The following is a short video description of how to separate the tube from the electronics of the bulb. We can remove the PCB relatively easily with a screwdriver. Now let's briefly see how the machine works in reality. First we turn on the device, and then through the Frex software we activate the series of Rife frequencies to treat a specific disease. In our case, for example, fever. The plasma tube starts to glow and start to radiate the desired frequency in our body. Here we can trace the output power. And carrier frequency. We will detect this signal with a spectrum analyzer, in my case this small SDR radio, and special software through this small antenna. This is spectrum analyzer software. Now when we turn on the device, we only see the carrier signals. So these are carrier signals. Now we will bring a sinusoidal signal to the input of the machine using the Frex software. For example, 1.5 kHz. Now this is the final Rife modulated signal. Without input Rife frequency and with input Rife frequency modulated. As we can see, this signal radiates all around and passes through our body as well. If we remove the antenna, we can no longer detect the signal. This proves that we are actually detecting the signal that radiates around the plasma tubes.